let's talk about something that gets almost everyone, how one single, tiny letter in English can completely flip the meaning of what you're saying. I'm serious. It can turn a compliment into an insult, and it can even cost you opportunities at work. But don't worry, today we're going to fix this for good.
So, picture this. A guy named John is at his friend Claire's place for dinner. She's cooked this amazing pasta dish. She's super proud of it. She asks him, "So, what do you think?" John, wanting to give her the highest praise possible, he says, "I have few words for this." What he meant was, "I'm speechless. It's that good."
But Claire didn't smile. Nope. She looked hurt. And John's stomach just drops. He knows he messed up, but he has no idea why. What he thought was this beautiful compliment somehow landed like a total insult. So what went wrong? That is the big question we're going to unpack.
And look, John's mistake, it's incredibly common, but has real consequences, you know? Not just with your friends, but at work, in interviews, everywhere. This one little letter can make you sound unhelpful, or like you don't know what you're doing, or honestly, just plain rude.
And this wasn't even John's first rodeo. Just last month, his boss, Marcus, asked if he had a moment to help with a new project. John said, "I have few minutes," thinking he was saying, "Yeah, I've got some time." But what his boss heard was, "Nope, I'm too busy, don't bother me." And just like that, the opportunity went to someone else. See, it's a small slip with big consequences.
So how do we make sure this never happens to you again? Well, we're going to use a really simple mental model. You can forget all those confusing grammar charts. We need something you can feel, something that's just instinct. I like to call it the half-glass rule.
Okay, so the magic ingredient here is the letter A. I want you to think of the letter A as water. When you say a few or a little, you're adding the A. It's like you're pouring water into a glass. It feels positive, right? There's some, there's enough, your glass is half full. But when you take that A away and you just say few or little, you're draining the glass. It feels negative. It feels like there's almost nothing left. The glass is nearly empty.
And that's the whole rule, right there. The letter A fills the glass. No A empties it. This isn't just about memorizing something, it's about feeling the difference. So before you speak, you can do a quick check. Do I want to sound positive and capable, or do I want to sound negative and lacking? Are you going to fill the glass, or are you going to empty it?
This just says it all. Just listen to the difference. I have a few friends. See, that feels warm. It feels connected and positive. Now listen to this. I have few friends. It's cold, isn't it? It sounds sad, lonely. You can literally feel the glass draining just from that one missing letter. It's a huge shift.
Okay, so now that you can feel the difference, let's just layer on a super simple system to make sure you always pick the right word. It's just 2 quick questions. That's it.
This is basically the cheat code to this whole grammar puzzle. You just ask yourself 2 things. First, can I count it? That tells you if you're in few territory or little territory. And second, is the A in or out? That tells you if the vibe is positive or negative. That's the entire system.
Let's look at that first question. Can you count it? So things like friends or cookies or options, yep, you can put a number on them. 1 friend, 2 cookies, 3 options. For those, you're going to use the few family. But what about things like time or patience or experience? You can't really count them as individual items, right? They're concepts. They're uncountable. For those, you use the little family. Simple as that.
Okay, so once you've got those core rules locked down, we can build on it. There are a few real-world phrases that will help you sound even more natural and help you sidestep some pretty common traps.
All right, here's a phrase that trips up almost everyone. You see a few in there and you immediately think a small number, right? But what happens when we stick the word quite in front of it?
Surprise, it means the exact opposite. Quite a few actually means a lot, a surprisingly large number. So if your friend says, quite a few people showed up, they're happy. It means way more people came than they expected. It's one of those little quirks of English that, once you know it, makes you sound so much more natural.
And what's really cool is how we can make these meanings even stronger. So quite takes the positive phrase a few and turns the volume way up. On the flip side, for the negative few, if you want to really emphasize how empty that glass is, you add very. Very few people came. That means a disappointingly, shockingly small number. The glass isn't just empty, it is bone dry.
And finally, let's talk about a couple of fixed phrases, idioms, that you should probably just memorize as a single chunk. Little by little means gradually, step by step, and it's always a really warm, encouraging thing to say. And then there's few and far between, which just means something is very rare. Now, you might notice little by little doesn't have an A, but it's positive. Why? Because it's an idiom. It's one of the exceptions that just is what it is.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We're going to go back to John and his mistakes, and using our new rules, we are going to fix them. This is where the knowledge actually turns into real-world confidence.
Just look at this transformation. So in an interview, saying I have little experience sounds like I have basically none. The fix? I have a little experience. You're filling the glass. You sound capable, you sound ready to learn, and with Claire's incredible pasta, he said I have few words, which sounded totally unimpressed. A much better fix is to say something like, I have no words. This is amazing. That perfectly captures what he meant to say in the first place. He's speechless because it's so good.
And that's really the whole point here. This isn't just about being a grammar nerd. It's about communication. It's about building good relationships, succeeding at your job, and making people feel seen and appreciated. By just adding that one little letter, by remembering to fill the glass, you can turn a really awkward moment into a positive connection.
And this right here, it just sums it all up perfectly. The goal isn't just to be correct. It's to be understood in the way you actually mean to be understood. The half-glass rule gives you a tool to control the feeling behind your words, making sure your message always lands with warmth and confidence.
So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Think about it. When have you accidentally emptied the glass when you really meant to fill it? Maybe it was saying few when you meant a few, or little when you should have said a little. Now that you have the half-glass rule in your back pocket, how are you going to use it to speak with way more confidence?